Good afternoon and welcome to the January 20th virtual meeting of Chatham's Historic Business District Commission. My name is Daniel Silver. Don't blink too much because this is going to be a very short meeting, I hope. And I hope it'll also unfold as follows. As soon as the Central Permitting Coordinator, Sarah Clark, who is with us here this evening, reads the Governor's directive concerning these meetings, we'll move right on to the virtual roll call. After the roll call, the first order of business will be the approval of the minutes. As soon as the minutes are approved, we'll move right on to the applications. And as far as I know, we only have 2 this evening, so this should be, as I said, a very short meeting. We have all our members here, and I'll introduce those members who will be hearing the applications this afternoon, and they are Darcy Sequin, our Vice Chairman.
Darcy Sequin is here.
Okay. Clerk, Sam Stribert.
Sam Stribert is here.
Okay. Regular member, Bob Burns.
Bob Burns is here.
Our first alternate, Doug Grattan.
Doug Grattan is here.
And our second alternate, Steve DuBois.
Steve is here.
And as I said, my name Dan Silver, Chairman. So, with that being said, we'll move right on to the minutes.
Nope,
I'm sorry. We'll get to Sarah
Yeah.
first. Yes, Sarah. I want to read the directive of the Governor's directive.
I shall. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording this meeting, please notify the chairman. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 23, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Historic Business District Commission is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 322-932-368#. Despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible.
Thank you, Sarah. Now, as I said, we do have a quorum, and we had the roll call, and we read the Governor's directive. So now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes, and those are of January 6th. I believe everybody here will be voting on the minutes. So is there anybody that has any revisions or amendments to make to those minutes? Sam?
I think our discussion of the Kathleen Donovan's Town of Chatham, this would be page 3, third bullet point. Third bullet point, I think the sentence should say that the sense of the meeting was to locate the charging station near the pole.
So Sam, just for clarification, is it the line that talks about the control box?
Yes.
Will be moved away from the center of the lawn, either closer to the charging station or the pole. So would you like it to be changed to say will be moved closer to the pole?
Yes. I think that was the sense of the meeting, and I don't think we should leave it up to them. I think that's putting it over at the parking spaces, a very bad place.
That was my understanding as well.
Okay, thank you.
Doug Grattan would like to make a motion that we accept the minutes with that change as presented.
Okay, do we have a second?
Sam had his hand up.
Well, I haven't finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
So then on page 4, it's sort of hard to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seventh bullet point at the top. Mr. Rayland stated there were several utilities and tree roots in that area. But if it is possible to shift the station, they will. So that satisfied my question when I asked about the tree roots. Then on page 6, a member discussed a few possible issues regarding grade elevations on the site plan and the size of the units. Would be my amendments. I'm done.
You're done, Sam?
Yes, I
Okay, you got those, Sarah?
I do, and if I need to, I can always reach back out to Sam for any clarification.
sure.
Okay, very good. So, Doug, if you want to make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Doug Grattan will make a motion that we accept the minutes as amended.
Darcy Seacon will second the motion.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. And last chance for comments amongst the commission members. Darcy?
Darcy Seacon, no comments.
Okay, Robert Burns?
Bob Burns, no comments.
Okay, Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan, no comments.
Steve DeBoy?
Steve DeBoer, no progress, no comments.
Okay, and Dan Silva has no further questions or amendments. All right, so we'll vote now. Let's see, who's in favor? Darcy?
Darcy Seacon in favor.
Okay, Sam Stryver?
Sam Stryver in favor.
Robert Burns?
Bob Burns in favor.
Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan in favor.
Steve DeBoy?
Steve DeBoer approves.
Dan Silver approves as well. Thank you very much. So the minutes are out of the way. Now, to our first application, Sam?
Yes, the first application is a sign, 20-121 New England Pizza, care of Philip Malitas. Application to install a wall sign located at 1077 Main Street.
Okay, I believe our representative is here. He was earlier. As a matter of fact, he's still here. I see him, yeah. So what, can you give us a brief synopsis of what you're proposing? We have a beautiful picture of it up on the screen.
So yes, we're proposing putting a 48 by 192 inch sign, which we previously had at our pizza location at 1200 Main Street, which was previously approved as a rooftop sign. And we want to put that up as a wall sign at the new location.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty straightforward, but we'll have our clerk read any comments from the sign agent.
Yes, the applicant is required to seek approval from the Sign Code Appeals Committee under the sign bylaw, section 225-19, and is scheduled to be heard on February 11th, 2021. This was primarily due to the fact that the Main Street area was rezoned as R20.
Oh, really? Okay. All righty. Let's find out what the commission has to say about it. Steve?
I don't really have any questions. Is this the sign is it being relocated from the old business to the new business, or is it a new sign?
It's being relocated.
Okay.
Still- yeah.
No, I have no other questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You're all set, Steve?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
Doug?
Yeah, Doug Grattan, I just want to clarify, I'm looking at the photograph on the screen, but the sign will actually be maroon with gold lettering, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so I have no more questions. That's fine with me.
Okay, Doug?
That was Doug Grattan.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was Doug. I'm thinking Robert. There you are, Robert.
I'm here. Does this sign, is it too big for the building? Sarah?
So any signage that's put up in this district, because it is residentially zoned, will require approval from the Sign Code Appeals Committee, i.e. the zoning board. typically what would have been allowed in the previous district, which was small business SB, was only a 6 square foot sign. So the existing ground sign at the site would already exceed, and the applicant has gone to the zoning board for approval of the ground sign. And now they're seeking, and will be heard February 11th by the Sign Code Appeals Committee, i.e. zoning board, for this proposed wall sign. So anything that they do on this site as far as signage will require approval from that regulatory body.
So what are we voting on? If we don't have jurisdiction?
No, you have jurisdiction over aesthetic
Right.
purview, how you feel the sign looks on the building. The zoning board would have approval over the really just relief from the sign code, allowing for an additional sign to be placed on this site.
Okay, understand. Just one other question. There is some lighting up there now, I think.
Could somebody turn off their phone? Thank you.
Is there lighting there now on that side?
Yes,
Are you proposing keeping the lights?
yes.
And I don't see them in this picture.
They actually,
Yeah, it's because it looks deceiving because he actually cut and pasted the
Cut
sign
and paste.
where the lights are.
yes, the sign is actually cut and pasted where the lights are, but the lights have been there.
Okay, so you're gonna reposition those lights.
No.
No, they're not going to get repositioned. The sign is actually going to be
Okay.
placed under the lights.
Okay, so it'll fit where the lights will fit, the sign will be underneath it.
Yes.
Okay, no further questions.
Okay, Sam?
You're muted, Sam. Sam, you're muted.
I'm concerned about the size of this. We approved this sign when it was located on the other building.
Sam, excuse me, you're gonna have to start over. You were muted 3/4 of your comments.
Well, can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, you're fine now. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just repeating what I said before.
Okay,
I haven't left anything out. And that sign is a little bit different because it's set way back from the road and it's turned toward the parking lot. And so approving it, but I think his representation on the 192, how many feet is 192?
It's 16 feet.
16 feet wide. And it just doesn't look like 16 feet that double door is 5 feet, at the most 6 feet. And so the pizza sign can't be more than 12 feet in terms of the photograph. So in the picture, what I'm concerned about is that he's actually showing the sign way too big or he's showing the sign way too small. I just don't have any confidence in that this is a scale figure. I see the intent that he has, but so that's my concern. Otherwise, I'd be close to approving it because we approved it on the other building.
okay, all set, Sam?
Yes.
Okay, Darcy?
I don't have an issue with this sign. We approved it before, and I think he's probably taken into consideration what the scale is because he have the lights there. So I think the scale might be off a little bit, but I do approve of the sign.
Okay. Any concerns I have are dwarfed by the fact that we approved the sign before, so it is just going on a new location as far as I'm concerned. And the lights, if he has to take the lights down to get this sign in there, then I think he should come before us again, but I'm fine with it the way it is right now.
Mr. Chair, this is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
If you don't mind, so we had included the approval of the original sign in the board members packet, which I will flip to right now. The original sign, because it was located in a general business zoning district, was only allowed to be 3 feet in height because it was a roof sign. The proposed sign is 4 feet in height. And I wasn't sure if that was a mistake on the new rendering, or if the original sign that's proposed to be relocated was actually larger than what was allowed to be installed. So that's the only question I have, because we want to make sure that this is properly permitted and properly before both your commission and the zoning board of appeals.
I understand. So
I'm just seeking some clarification.
all right, so there's a possible size issue.
Correct. So the original sign, if they are relocating, the sign that was approved back in 1986 was for a 3-foot by 16-foot roof sign at 1200 Main Street, which was the previous location. The rendering as proposed is showing a 4-foot by 16-foot sign, which will be attached to the wall.
But this is the same size, it's the same physical sign, is that correct?
That is the question that I'm asking, because the numbers don't necessarily jive between what had originally been permitted and what is on the new rendering shown to the board.
Okay, do we have the representative here? Can they answer that question? Are you just moving the previously approved sign to a different location? Or are you creating a new sign altogether? You're muted, I'm sorry.
So Philip has just run outside with a ruler to get an exact measurement. All this is, it's the same physical sign that was at 1200 Main Street that we're just moving over to 1077. I think that the Plymouth sign spec that came over is showing it as is incorrect, quite honestly, because I don't think it would have been approved for 1200 Main Street if it were that size to begin with. So I am waiting for him to come out. It's 36. Here he is. Hold on one second.
Okay, great.
It is 36. Am I muted?
No, you're on.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that.
And they asked, I told them it's the same exact sign, just relocated from 1200 to 1077.
Okay, and in fact, it is 36 inches high by 16 feet, the original sign, is that correct?
Yes. How come I can't see them?
Because they have your hand.
Oh, okay.
So yes, Mr. Chairman, per the applicant, the sign is 3 feet tall by 16 feet wide, simply being relocated as a roof sign, which was at the previous location at 1200 Main Street, to the new location at 1077 Main Street.
Okay, so that everything is good. The sign is the original sign. It is in fact 3 feet by 16 feet. And the intention is simply to relocate the sign. So that's excellent. All right. So let's go back through the members again, just one more time. Steve DuBois, do you have any further questions now that we've clarified some issues here? Possibly?
No, I don't have any other questions. Because I visited the old place where it was, and I thought 4 feet wasn't correct. And then the fact that it had been previously approved, I don't have a problem with them relocating the sign.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Doug? Brad?
I have no questions. I understand the 3 feet by 16.
Excellent, thank you. Robert Burns,
No further questions.
Darcy Sequin,
Darcy Sequin, no questions.
okay, Sam Stryver,
I have no questions. I'm still upset the fact that the sign is not depicted according to scale.
okay.
I think it's
All
gonna,
right,
I think it's gonna hurt them at the zoning board of appeals.
I have no further, Dan Silva has no further questions either. All right. Let's see, can we get a motion from somebody?
Doug Grant will make a motion for application 20-121, Lynn Pizza, care of Philip Malatas. Application to install a wall sign located at 1077 Main Street. Sign to be 36 inches tall by 192 inches long.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
All right, motion made and seconded. All right, we've gone through further comments, so I guess we'll go right on to voting on this. Steve?
Steve DeBoer approved, but I think they should make corrections to the documentation.
I agree. All right, Sarah, can we note that?
I most certainly will.
Sarah, I'll make sure you have an updated copy of this by the end of the week.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, so Steve, that was Steve, you approved? Steve DeBoer approved?
Yes, that's right. Steve DeBoer
Okay.
approved.
Doug Grattan? Whoops, sorry about that, Doug. Okay. Robert Burns?
Bob Burns approves.
All righty. Sam Stryver?
I approve with the condition that we get the accurately depicted drawings of what it'll look like.
That's an amendment to the motion, so
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to do about this. So that would require a new motion. Is that correct, Sarah?
Well, maybe Doug would accept an amendment to his motion.
So Sam, do you just want an updated rendering? Do you want it to show the existing lighting or just reflecting the correct size of the sign?
Correct size of the sign, because it's a proportional thing that is, right now, it's overbearing. I think the zoning board of appeals will, if they show them this drawing, that they'll be denied.
So the applicant has noted that they will be providing us a revised rendering by the end of this week because they will be going to the zoning board and their packets will be going out this week. So they will be providing us a revised rendering. I just didn't know if you wanted them to try to reflect the proper scale on the rendering, or if you just wanted them to reflect the size. So change the 48 to 36.
Well, the sign size should be accurate to the size of the building. I don't think it's accurate right now as depicted. Well, it's not in scale.
So we would ask the applicant to please, in addition to updating the size, to please have the sign company make the scale of the proposed sign accurate to the building.
Okay.
Whoever, yes.
Thank you. I just needed that to be able to write the appropriate conditions.
I know.
The other problem we have is
that's fine. My motion's amended to reflect that, Sarah.
Okay, before we get a second on that motion, I want to talk to Sarah again, to staff. Would this require them to ask for a continuance, Sarah? Because how are they going to get that to us?
No, so typically what we would do in an instance like this where it's being lesser than what was originally shown, you could do it through the chair signing off on it. So as soon as I get the rendering via email, I will send that to you and you could say, yes, this is what satisfies the conditions that the board has imposed, reflecting an updated rendering and having the sign be made to the scale of the building.
All right, I would rather I would prefer, Sarah, that you give it to the dissenting member, Sam, and once he signs off, then I will sign it officially.
Okay, I can do that.
I was just gonna ask for that.
Okay, so Doug, you want to go ahead and continue with your amended motion?
I do want to continue with my amended motion.
Okay, so
Darcy
we all know
Sequin
it.
will second the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion that has been amended and seconded, so now we'll vote on it. All right, again, Steve DeBoy.
Steve DeBoer votes to approve as amended.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Doug Grattan,
Doug Grattan votes to approve.
as amended, very good. Robert Burns,
Burns approves as amended.
Dan Strivett,
Approves as amended.
Darcy Sequin,
Darcy Sequin approves as amended.
Daniel Silver approves as amended as well. Thank you very much. All right,
Thank you.
folks, we have one more item, I think, or two, one,
Okay,
three.
yes. Addition and an alteration application 21-001. Daniel Meservey, care of Paul J. Cazal and Sons, application to replace clapboards with vinyl siding on the structure located at 1698 Main Street.
Very good. Do we have the applicant or representative hanging in there?
Yep, I'm here, Paul.
Very good. So what can you tell us? What's your proposal, sir?
We are simply proposing, at his request, Daniel Meservey to replace his wood clapboard siding with a vinyl product, same style and same color, as close as possible to match.
Would that also include the trim?
Only if it's rotted or deteriorated.
Okay, very good. Let's see what the commission members think about it. Sam?
Well, I think what we mean when we're thinking of the trim is that we don't want just J channels all around, that sort of thing. It should have the full width of the existing trim, because we lose the proportions of everything.
Okay, does the applicant understand what Sam is saying?
Yeah, well, so you want the existing dimensions of the window trim to, or overall trim to remain? Because we have to install a J channel.
Yes, you do, next to the wood trim. Otherwise, we lose all the trim on the building.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, to be clear, we have to basically picture frame the whole perimeter of every elevation with the J channel, which would butt all the trim surfaces, the edges of the trim.
Correct.
So trim
That's
dimension will
acceptable.
remain, but there'll be that visual effect of the J channel, all around the perimeter of all the trim.
Yes, I understand that.
Okay.
Just as long as it isn't denuded is what I'm concerned about.
Okay.
The bigger you can make the trim, the better, is all what I'm saying.
All right,
So
Robert?
could,
I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to ask, can the existing dimension of the trim remain and simply install the J channel?
Yes,
Okay. In which case, we'd only replace any rotted or deteriorated trim of the same dimension.
that'll be fine.
And would you be okay with an AZEC or vinyl, a PVC trim?
Yes,
Okay,
makes sense.
sure.
Okay, Sam?
Yes,
Okay, Doug?
I have no questions.
Okay, Robert?
Paul, one question. The width of the boards are going to be the same?
Yep, right now it's a 4-inch exposure to the weather with what's on there, and that's what we propose to put back.
Okay, great. And I think you have a lot of dampness there, so I agree that it probably takes a beating with the car wash.
Definitely. In fact, that side is showing some rot already, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, good. I have no further questions.
Okay, Doug Grattan,
Doug has no questions.
Steve DuBois,
Yeah, I guess I have no questions. I'm not a big fan of vinyl siding, and I actually walked the building today, and I thought that I know there are some spots that there's some loose clapboards that could be fixed. And I'm not really convinced that a good coat of paint couldn't solve a lot of the problems, but we did approve just the last meeting, a building across the street to install vinyl siding, so it would be difficult to say yes to one and not to the other, but I'm not totally convinced that it needs a siding job, but see what other people feel.
okay. All set, Steve?
Yes.
Okay. Darcy,
Darcy Sequin, I have no questions, no issues. Thank you.
okay. Dan Silver, I agree with the comments that Sam asked, and I was very happy with the responses he got, so I have no further questions.
Dan, can I just ask one further question?
Certainly.
Again, we're talking about the same, this looks like a 4 inches to the weather. That's what you're planning.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Basically, whatever you see on the building now is what we propose to put back. It's
Yep.
just a material change with the added, accessory of the J channel.
All righty, very good. So do we have a motion?
Doug Rat will make a motion for addition/alteration, application 21-001, Daniel Meservey, care of Paul J. Casalt and Sons, application to replace clapboards with vinyl siding on the structure located at 1698 Main Street as presented.
All right,
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded. Now we'll see if we have any further comments at all. Starting with Darcy, do you have any further comments?
Darcy Sequin, no further comments.
Sam Stryver?
Sam Stryver, no further comments except for the unnecessary conversation off microphone that is infiltrating this.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, Sam.
It's the applicants. The people at the applicants are in the background. Somebody's talking.
No, it's not on my end.
TV.
Can we move on, Dan, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Bob Burns, no further comments.
There you go. Is that better? Now it's still there a little bit. Okay, Bob Burns, no further comments. Doug Grattan,
Doug Rat, no further comments?
Steve DuBois,
Steve has no further comments or questions.
Dan Silva has no further questions either. All righty, then we'll go to vote. Darcy Sequin,
Darcy Sequin in favor.
Sam Stryver,
Sam Stryver approves.
Robert Burns,
Burns approves.
Doug Grattan,
Doug Rat in favor?
Steve DuBois,
Steve DuBois approves.
Dan Silver approves as well. Very good. That gets us through. Thank you. All right, Sam,
We have an administrative approval and exemption, 21-002, Mark Abram. Application for administrative approval to replace the entire roof on the structure located at 805 Main Street.
Okay, and who do we have going down to see this? Oh, there you go.
Oh,
This is Darcy Sequin. I think Bob and I went to see it. They're going to do the entire roof, so I approved of it.
Okay, very good. And the shingles they were using were?
They're proposed to use pewter wood.
Oh, all right. Picked a tough one, huh?
The work, this is Bob, the work is done. They did it a few days ago, and the shingles are darker than these, but it looks very good.
Oh, but cedar wood, that's one of the ones I think we pre-approved anyways. Weatherwood or cedar wood, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you to Bob and Darcy. Thank you for going down there. And thank you, Sarah, for the picture. That's great. All right, so let's see. Doug, do we have a motion to accept, to ratify that?
Doug Grattan will make a motion for administrative approval and exemption for 21-002 Mark Abraham. Application for administrative approval to replace the entire roof on the structure located at 805 Main Street.
Okay, let's see if anybody has any further comments at all. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin will second the motion, and I have no more comments.
Okay. Sam Stryver?
No more comments from Sam Scribe.
Robert Burns?
No comments from Bob Burns.
Okay, Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan has no comments.
Steve DuBois?
Steve has no comments.
Dan Silva has no further comments. So we'll vote now. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin approves.
Sam Stryver?
Sam Stryber approves.
Robert Burns?
Bob Burns approves.
Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan approves.
Steve DuBois?
Steve DeBoer approves.
Dan Silver approves as well. Very good. That's unanimous. Excellent. I think that's it, isn't it, folks?
That's the agenda as written.
All right, Sarah, what do we have for, anybody in the public want to make a comment? Is there anybody out there at all, Sarah?
There is no one in the audience.
All right, fine. Sure.
I
Alright.
will let the members know that for our next meeting, we do have about 9 applications.
Oh, my goodness.
So we're starting to ramp back up, and it could be a little bit more lengthy than today's meeting, obviously. So
Is it mostly signs or we got something to really chew into?
a couple of signs. Monomoy Theater has reapplied following the pre-application last time. They've reapplied for the demolition of the buildings, but have provided potential photos of what the proposed structures may look like. They do still have to go through the planning board, zoning board, and obviously this commission for the new construction in addition to the demolition. But they did have a remand with a report back to the now select board within 60 days. So they have applied for the February 3rd meeting for the demolition of the 5 structures, 1 at 70 Depot and 4 at 776 Main Street.
Well, I wish they'd held off a little bit on the application to get a little more information, but.
Well,
that's what it is.
they have provided quite a few packets of information, and I will hope to have all of those out to you by the end of this week as opposed to next week. That way you have ample time to review all of the materials.
Okay, very good, Sarah. Thank you for taking, such good control of this. All right. So, folks, we know what we're up against. And are there any other comments among commission members? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Doug Grattan will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. All right, let's start with Darcy.
Darcy Sequin approves.
Okay, Sam Stryver,
Sam Stryber approves.
Robert Burns,
Bob Burns approves.
Doug Grattan,
Doug Grattan approves.
Steve DuBois,
Steve DeBoer approves.
Dan Silver approves as well. Thank you so much, folks. That's it. Thank you for attending the meeting. And
We are officially adjourned at 5:10 p.m.